Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. All right, we're going to answer a question. We're going to have a really interesting conversation, and I promise not to keep you long. We're going to talk about what's too much when it comes to protein. Do you know the answer? Oh, come on. Let's get it on and turn the music off. Peace out. Hello, everybody. This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, a.k.a. Robert Ferguson. I am a nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care. And today, I am going to give you an impromptu share about protein. There's a lot of people eating a lot of protein. There's some of you are on a keto diet, getting a good amount of protein. Some of you are on a low carb diet, eating a lot of protein. Some of you are in some group. Maybe there's a challenge or some nutrition plan was given to you, and they probably said you should consume 120 grams of protein. Maybe some of you 150 grams of protein a day. And maybe that's just part of the challenge. But do you know what you're doing? Now, before I dive in, let me just take a moment and encourage you to connect with us. If you have questions about anything, if you want to coach, if you want to become a coach, reach out to us. We can help you there. We are gearing up for an amazing 2024. And there's a lot of people that want clarity and they want the truth. And some of what I'm going to share with you today will be an example of the truth. And it can't be rebutted because everything that I'm sharing with you, number one, is evidence-based, and everybody has different evidence. But number two, the thing that we have and bring to the table with our diet-free life methodology is that it's clinically proven. You won't meet many people that can say that. Now, you'll meet people who have what they call anecdotal outcomes or results, meaning they will tell you that, yeah, their clients ate a certain way and got these outcomes, but that's not third-party conclusive. That's not clinically proven, okay? Today, I'm not going to share with you studies. I'm just going to just have a conversation with you. So if you have questions, I want you to bring it because the goal is to bring clarity to the pros and the cons of the amount of protein that we consume. Now, I also want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment if you have something you can comment about, even if you just say hi. Because whenever I upload a new video or we go live, you can always catch it on YouTube. And some of you may be catching me on LinkedIn. Some of you may be catching me on Facebook or wherever you're catching it. Stay in touch with us. And you can always go to our website at Diet Free Life and you can contact us there. Last two things, we have a detox drop program. It's great. People get results with it. You can do it as often as you want. Go to our store. I've provided a link so you can learn more about that. And it also includes the whole nutrition, everything that comes with that. So it's not like you're going to be starving and you got to stand or sit next to a restroom. It works with you and meets you right where you are. And then, we just have so many things. Go to the store. And then right now, we changed the prices. So I have an opportunity for about 6 people to go into my VIP program. And you can start with a month to become a client. It's only $199 for the first month. That's nothing. I mean, we normally were charging upwards from $400 to $900 for the first month. And right now, you can get off to a great start with coaching. It's either with me. Right now, the 6 slots I have available is with me. And then if it's more than 6 people that respond, I have coaches that I can connect you with. Okay. Let's get into this. This is going to be interesting. What is too much protein? What have you guys been told? Like, how much protein do you think a person should be consuming on a daily basis if their goal is to lean out, lose weight, or just to be healthy? I had a really good conversation with someone today, and it motivated me to share this information. Now, I wish the world and everybody would get what I'm going to share. That's not going to happen, but whoever gets it, I want you to hang on to it because there's a lot of misinformation floating around about the macronutrient called protein. Now, before I dive in, and we had our food as medicine. So some of you who are catching this, if you went to the food as medicine course, if you haven't, I strongly recommend you can email us. I can give you a link. We haven't, I don't have a link right now to promote, but the course is available. You can still go to it. It's on demand. And the price is right for someone to get access to well over 10 hours of information. And you can go at your own pace. But that's food as medicine. So if you contact us or contact my assistant and you have questions about food as medicine, you want to learn more, then we'll email you a link and then you can learn more. Okay. So some of you will know the answers, but let's build. This is where it's going to get good. Okay. You ready? There's 3 macronutrients, and it's very important as we talk about protein that you know what the 3 macronutrients are. And I see that Sandy is with us today. What's up, Sandy? So, Sandy, I'll ask you and anyone who wants to volunteer the answer. What are the 3 macronutrients? So you can type it in. And if no one responds, because maybe you're concerned that you don't know what the 3 macronutrients are, which is okay, then I'm going to share with you. And today you will know what the 3 macronutrients are. I mean, it's interesting when I talk to people and they talk about health and nutrition, or I talk to someone who sells supplements and I go, do you know what the 3 macronutrients are? And they don't know that answer. That's, I don't know, that's a little interesting and not in a good way. I'm like, you don't know what the 3 macronutrients are, but you're talking about health and nutrition. Everyone would benefit from knowing what the 3 macronutrients are. Now, Sandy has given us the answer. You have protein, we have fats, and we have carbohydrates. Those are the 3 macronutrients. Some people will call them macros. So macronutrients and macros, that's basically the same thing. Now, 2 of those macronutrients are essential, meaning if you do not eat them, if you do not eat the macronutrients, you will die. And one of these macronutrients you don't need to eat. So let me just tell you which ones are essential. Protein is essential. So you must eat protein in order to live. The protein is made up of amino acids. There are essential amino acids. And when you're eating a variety of foods, then you will get an adequate amount of those essential amino acids. So protein is essential, meaning you need it to live. Fats are essential. You've heard of omega-3, omega-6, probably heard of omega-9. Our body makes that. That's like extra virgin olive oil. But they're essential. Carbohydrates are not essential because our bodies can actually create carbs. Now, saying that, you want to eat carbohydrates. And you want to eat a variety of carbohydrates because they do bring with them quite a few additional benefits. They're not essential. You don't need them for life. Like if you go to Alaska, you have the Inuits. They would go years without ever eating any kind of carbohydrate. They ate fat and protein. And there's a whole bunch of studies around that. So some people can come to you with evidence and go, you don't need carbs, just focus on the protein, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to lose weight or you're going to get healthier. Okay. There's a little bit of truth there, but you don't want to be, misled. You don't want to be misinformed. Carbohydrates are your friend. And I'm going to, as I share with you how much protein is enough, you're going to walk away with clarity and understand the reason why you want to make sure you're eating a variety of carbs. Okay? All right. 2 more things and then I can go deep into it. When you look at carbohydrates, right? Whether it's rice, pasta, broccoli, an apple, a bell pepper, plant-based. All carbs are plant-based, right? Plant-based. When you eat carbs, your body will use the carbs for energy and use it for a lot of different things, but it will also store inside of your body a certain amount of carbs. In case it doesn't get carbs, it can pull from the storage sites and use those carbs. So it's very important that you know that. And the 2 main areas where carbs are stored is your liver and your muscle, your skeletal muscle. So inside of your muscle tissue, as well as inside of your liver, there's a certain amount of carbs that is stored in what they call glycogen. And when it's stored, it can also release glycogen and it converts back to glucose or carbs in your blood. Okay, so we know that carbs can be stored in the body. Fat, and I'm sure you already get this, can be stored in the body. We have fat cells. And if your body's not using that fat that you're consuming, it can get stored in your fat cells. And if your body ever needed fat, the fat cells could release the fat back into your circulation, into your blood, and use the fat for energy or whatever. So there's a storage site for fat, and there is a storage site for carbs. Now, for the protein thing to make sense, in your body, I'm going to say it one more time. In your body, there is no areas in your body where protein is stored. Only fat and carbohydrates get stored in the body. Protein does not get stored in your body. Protein does not get stored in your body. Now, protein is made up of amino acids, right? And that's what we need to have muscle. Amino acids help create enzymes in our body, create skin, nails, hair, collagen. Protein, when you eat it, if it is not used today, meaning that protein that you eat breaks down to amino acids, and then it can be used to create skin and nails, and right, and hair and enzymes and all of these cool things in our bodies. If there's too much protein, meaning your body can't store it, so if it uses the protein, there's no storage place, what does it do with that extra protein? Where does the extra protein go? Right? Because you don't have the perfect amount of protein that your body is going to use all of that protein. So where does the excess go? We know where the excess fat goes. We know where the excess carbs go. But where does the excess protein go? Does anybody want to take a wild guess at this? Because this is the foundation to what will help you understand that you don't want to be over consuming protein. Because anything that your body doesn't use when you consume it today, that protein has to go somewhere. Well, Sandy says it gets converted to carbs, which is one of the things that can happen. And that means that it can also be converted to fat. So some people are eating a whole bunch of protein thinking that they're rocking and rolling, and that's why they're getting lean, but yet it's converting to carbs anyway. And there's a strong association with fatty liver with people who consume a significant amount of protein. Because with a lot of protein can also come a certain amount of fat. So what is too much protein? How do we know? Well, there is no canned answer. The government in America knows what is too little protein. And most of when they look at vitamins or vitamin C, vitamin D, like they focus more on like what is a minimum that you need. And so when you look at a minimum, that number is going to be really small when it comes to protein, right? So if you weigh 200 pounds, a minimum may be, let's say, about 60 grams of protein. And I'm just throwing that out, but that's not a lot, right? So in 1 ounce of chicken breast, 1 ounce of steak, 1 ounce of turkey, 1 ounce of fish, I'm getting 6 to 8, calories, or I'm getting 6 to 8 grams of protein, in that 1 gram. Or sorry, am I hungry? What's going on? So basically, if you had 3 ounces of chicken breast, you're getting about 20, 25 grams of protein. So it doesn't take much to get 60 grams of protein. The challenge is when you enroll in programs and people tell you to consume 120, 140, 160, 180, or they say you want to consume 1 gram of protein for every pound you weigh on the scale. Or they'll say, if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to be 130, then you want to consume 130 grams of protein based on the weight that you want to get to. So 1 gram of protein for every pound. These people are crazy. They're telling you guys this stuff. They're absolutely crazy. Okay, this is what happens when you consume too much protein. 1, you could find yourself feeling very bloated. Okay, this is very common. 2, if you have any kind of kidney problems, there is some studies and good amount of data that suggests that consuming too much protein when you have kidney damage can worsen your kidneys. That's up for debate a little bit, but we know what we know. Number 3 is that if you're consuming a lot of protein, you will be satiated, meaning you probably won't be as hungry as normal. But if your goal is to lose weight, you're going to be hoodwinked. And here's where it gets interesting. Okay. Woo, this is going to be good. Some of you guys probably know this, but you want to get to a place, especially our coaches, where you could explain this to someone. Remember I said carbs can be stored in your body? Well, for every gram of carb that is stored in your liver or stored in your muscle, there's about 3 grams of water attached to that 1 gram of carb. There's about 3 grams of water that attaches to every gram of carb that's stored in your body. So one more time, for every gram of carbohydrate that gets stored in your muscles and your liver, you have about 3 grams of water attached to it. Okay, that's important because when you go high protein and you're stepping on the scale, you're going to see the weight come off. You can be like, wow, I'm losing weight. It's working. It's probably not working. What happens is that when you first stop eating the amount of carbs you're eating, your body will then start to use those carbs that are being stored in your liver as well as in your muscles. It will use it for energy, and a lot of it will be excreted out of your body. And for every gram of carb that leaves your body or gets used, 3 grams of water is also leaving your body and evaporated. So there's a lot of water that you lose when you go high protein, low carb. And if you were checking and monitoring your body fat percentage, you would know this because you would see it with your body fat percentage. Oftentimes your weight will go down, but your body fat percentage could potentially go up because you lose the water. The water is part of what we call the fat-free mass. Same as like muscle. Now, the good news is that if you're eating a good amount of protein, you are more likely helping to preserve the skeletal muscle that you do have. However, remember, all excess gets converted anyway. So if you're basing your success off of the weight on the scale, you're going to feel like you're doing a good job. But it's water. As soon as you eat any kind of carb, your body's going to soak it in, and it's going to grab water attached to it, and it's going to get stored. And the weight on the scale is going to go right back up. Then you probably you're going to have like fatty liver and a whole bunch of other things. Now, if you're working out, that can also help with everything. But eating too much protein, it just sets you up for false evidence that appears to be real. Does this make sense what I'm sharing? I hope this is making sense. Now, someone said, well, how much protein should a person eat? Well, with the Diet for Your Life methodology and what the science is very clearly stating as far as people who want to preserve skeletal muscle, etc., on a bare minimum, I would encourage someone to consume no less than 15 grams of protein in a meal. And for women, 30 grams would be ideal. That'd be a good number. Men, 30 to 40. And not just in the protein source. See, when I established the methodology and I said 15 grams, I would have some people who are aware of the study saying 30 grams of protein would be ideal for that woman. And maybe up to 50, 40. And if they could do that in 3 meals a day, that would be phenomenal. And Robert, you're only recommending 15 grams? I said 15 to 30, 15 to 40. The reason why the 15 is there is because I am in a compliance with everything that the government discovered as far as a minimum amount of protein a person would benefit from consuming. However, I know that if they're thinking protein source like chicken, like turkey, like steak, like fish, even tofu, and if they had 15 grams based on how we create fat burning meals, they're also getting protein from that cup of broccoli, about 5 grams. They're also getting protein from the other carbs they're eating. If I had a slice of bread, that's about 4 to 5 grams of protein. Most people who are heavy on protein don't look at the protein that's in broccoli, the protein that is in, bell peppers, the protein that they would be consuming that comes with a slice of bread. They're not even thinking about the protein that's in rice. All of that together adds up and will give you an adequate amount of protein. So we're hitting the numbers and we got it down. So it's not just in eating steak. It's not just in eating meatloaf. It's not just in buying cereal that's high in protein. So one of the first things I would tell someone, if you're looking for a nutrition plan that's solid, anyone that's heavily pushing protein, beware, because they're missing a whole bunch of stuff that puts you in a position where you're compromised. And you don't want to be compromised. Okay. Any questions, you guys? Throw some questions at me when it comes to protein. Let's talk about it. Okay, challenge me if you want. I'm open to all that, even on the replay. What questions do you have about protein? And as you're thinking about the question you want to ask, I was looking the other day at, this one, New York Times best-selling author who was all about the carnivore diet, like protein, right? They're eating protein and fat, no carbs at all. Well, the author of that book is now advocating eating carbs. Then I'm looking at this other guy that was real big on keto. Very famous guy out there preaching to the world, don't eat carbs, blah, blah, blah. Built this big company, made millions of dollars. And now the other day I saw him going, oh no, people need to eat carbs. And I keep saying that. So a lot of these people who were pro protein and fat don't eat carbs. After them going through it for so many years, now they all eat carbs. So that means their books are outdated. And all those people who drank the Kool-Aid, they're all still avoiding carbs. See, if you ask me this, if you said, Robert, how does that happen? Why does that happen? This is what I would tell you. A lot of these people get really good at explaining things in theory. They get really good at writing on a chalkboard or a whiteboard. They don't have real clients. I have real clients. That's when we say clinically proven. I have real clients and way more than they have this when it comes to success. That's clinically proven. So, yes, they may sound right and it may make sense when they're talking and people will jump on board, but it's not clinically proven. So you're getting on a bus in Los Angeles thinking the bus is going to take you to Hawaii. And a bus cannot drive to Hawaii. What happens is the bus will drive you to Alabama. The bus will drive you to Florida. The bus will take you to New York. It'll take you to every outcome or destination except for where you want to get to. So you have people who will jump on the bandwagon, like this lady I was talking to today, and listen to these people who sound like they make sense. They encourage people to go with this high protein way of living, and it's a challenge and you pay money for it. And you're hoping it's going to take you to a certain outcome, right? A certain destination, but it doesn't. And the older you are, the more it's creating disruption in your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome becomes damaged. Leaky gut becomes more likely. I hope this is making sense. And instead of just guessing, you guys, this is where we come in. Like when sometimes I have a hard time figuring out how do I sell that when you work with me or work with any of our coaches, the thing that you're working with is learning. You're going to learn the truth. And you can use that for the rest of your life. Anyway. Okay, we got someone that says, hey, Robert, what's the recommended grams of protein for a woman in premenopause? Should the protein be increased during the women's stage of life? No. The thing that you want to increase when you have menopause is your activity. You want to hit the weights harder. Like if you woke up and you were going to work out, if it came down to performing cardio or resistance training, premenopause, postmenopause, I'm going to do weights. And then eating edamame beans and some of the things that we encourage when it comes to premenopause and all that. There are some foods, like we do in Food as Medicine, that becomes the medicine. Food. Not a supplement. Not another lie. Food. And we know how to eat and what foods are going to help you get the outcome that you want and something that you can live with. Come on. All right. My man DW's in the house. He says, how about 3 teaspoons of peanut butter? Not sure what you mean by that, but peanut butter has 5 times more fat calories in it than it does protein. But peanut butter is great, but it's not a protein source. It has protein in it, but it has 5 times more fat calories than it does protein. And peanut butter is a fat when we make a fat burning meal. Now, if anyone came into this late, I strongly recommend you take a moment and listen to it again. If you have questions, post them in the comments. If you want to reach out to us and you're ready, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get healthy, if you just want to learn about nutrition, then reach out to us and we'll help you out. You got this. I'm Robert Ferguson. I share because I care. And thank you for giving me, I hope I gave you some ideas. So again, the take home, if you wanted to maximize your protein, don't shoot for a certain amount of protein based on your weight. Now, if you're an extreme athlete, if you're a pro athlete, if you're, working at a really high level, then you're going to benefit to consume a little bit more protein than someone who's not at that level. Like I'm a former pro athlete. I don't eat anywhere near the amount of protein that I was eating or the amount of calories I was eating when I was training at that level and competing. So if I got 30 to 40 grams of protein for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm good. And you are too. And you can get that through powders, like protein powders. You can get it through vegetables. You can get it through, your fast carbs, slow carbs. You can get it through eating protein. Remember, there's protein in everything. And when you eat, and let's say we talk about protein in bread, when that bread breaks down in your body and then gets absorbed into the bloodstream, your body, right, does not know the difference between those amino acids from bread or from the amino acids from steak. Once the amino acids are in the bloodstream, they're in the bloodstreams, and they join together to create enzymes and create skin and create all the different things that are created from amino acids. Now, I will end with this, and then I have to go. There's a thing called bioavailability, like how much of the protein that you consume gets absorbed and used in the body. That is increased whenever protein and fat are one or they're together. So avoiding fat, right? Because I had someone say, well, I'm just going with really lean chicken breast and no fat. Well, you're not going to absorb the bioavailability of that chicken breast without fat is not at the same level. Fat really is your friend. Now, some bodybuilders would argue that because they're not really going for health, right? They're going for a certain look. And so they will compromise their health to look a certain way. Same as taking steroids to look a certain way. So let's not get it twisted. I'm talking primarily about health as well as your ability to make the most of the foods that you consume. Food as medicine. And my man DW got my point. He said, that's funny. Bus can't drive to Hawaii. Exactly. And there's a lot of people who get on the bus and they want to lose weight and keep it off. And that bus ain't going to take them to that destination. It's not. And that's why we go from one diet to the next diet, another diet to another diet. Enough is enough. All right, you guys, I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you for listening. If you got questions, reach out to us and I'll be back mañana. All right. Peace and love. Until the next one.